Let's talk about toxic relationships today. Having been in these kind of relationships, if there's one biggest learning that I've had is to be able to understand when to leave. No matter how much the person means to you, no matter how much the relationship means to you, but it's probably the best thing that you could do to yourself and to protect your mental health. Now, as a matter of fact, people do not even understand that they are in a toxic relationship. They feel like they just need to put in more efforts, or they just need to make more compromises or make more sacrifices and whatnot. And they just don't understand that it's not worth it. It's not worth putting yourself through it. So keep watching this video till the end, because I'm going to talk about all the signs that I have experienced in my life and I've seen in the relationships of people around me. So number one, when your partner makes you feel like he is always the superior one, he is always the person who has an upper hand over everything. No matter what he says, it's by default that you need to comply to it. If he wants to break up with you, you are expected to do the same. If he wants to get back together with you, again, you are expected to do the same. And you don't really have a say of your own, is what it feels like. It feels like you are literally living under a shed of whatever he wants you to do and what expects out of you. Number two, no matter how much you do, it's never enough. So there would always be some people for whom you would keep giving and giving and giving, and all they do is just find flaws in whatever you're doing, just keep nitpicking and just find reasons for no reason. Basically find reasons to come up with problems for nothing, basically. And they just don't seem to appreciate you and appreciate whatever you're doing, be it trading time with your friends to be with them, or just going out of the way to make an extra effort to make them feel special. It just isn't enough. Number three, when they make you feel like no matter what the situation is, what the argument is, you are always the person who has to take the blame. They kind of manipulate you into believing that you are always the culprit. They wouldn't even try to understand your point of view, or try to, as a matter of fact, just assume or think about for a second that they are also the people who could be wrong. You don't deserve to basically be with someone who cannot sit down with you, talk it out, and try to understand where things went wrong. And also using phrases like, are you crazy? Are you insane? Have you lost your mind? And just using these phrases as a matter to get out of the situation, and just putting it all on you and making you feel like the bad guy in the situation, which is absolutely not the case. And you know it, and they know it probably too. Number four, when they are trying to control everything in your life. They want to know where you are, they want to know who you're hanging out with, what's happening on your phone all the time, stalking your social media, stalking the people you talk to, and just keeping a check on everything basically that you are doing in your life. Even if you are in a relationship, you do not need to give up your personal space. You do not need to be with someone who constantly wants to know what you're doing all the time, or where you're doing, where you are up to all the time. Because personal space is something that is so important. Yeah, you're in a relationship, but that doesn't mean that you will not have relationships with other people in your life, or you're not gonna spend time with someone else. Number five, comparison with someone else. And when I say that, I mean it could be in terms of anything, in terms of your behavior, in terms of just your appearance or whatsoever. If they make you feel like you are just not enough for them, they start comparing you with someone so much, or just with a lot of people so much, that you start to feel like these set of people have these qualities that I don't have, and I probably don't even deserve him. Let me tell you that it's not you who doesn't deserve him, and it's the other way around. Also, when I say him, it's just for the video to make it simpler, and it just basically means him or her whatsoever. So I'm just gonna, for the sake of convenience, I'm gonna use him. So yeah, if they make you feel like you aren't enough for them, it's again not something that you should be putting up with. You should be, I always feel like in a relationship, you should always feel like you don't deserve them, you know, like in a positive sort of a way, not in a negative sort of a way, but like they're so good for you that you probably don't even deserve them. You got way better than what you probably deserve. I hope that's coming out right and in a positive way. Number 6, when you are scared all the time. And what I mean by that is when you start to take decisions in your life based on what the other person is feeling. You don't want to live a life where no matter what decision you're making, you think about how they are going to feel. If you want to make a social media post, you're thinking that, oh my god, if I put this, what is this person going to think about it, or it's going to feel? Is he going to pick up a fight with me, or are we going to have an argument? Or if you want to spend time with, let's say, a friend of yours, maybe of the opposite gender, and what is your partner going to feel about it? Basically, you start to take decisions which are really coming from his side of things. Everything that is happening in your life is based on what he's going to feel, or what just he's going to react about it. Again, that's not what something you deserve. You need to be a person who is free. A relationship is not supposed to feel like you're in a cage. It's actually supposed to make you feel even more liberated than ever before. It's supposed to make you feel strong. It's supposed to make you feel like the strength that you never had, or just an extra pillar of support that is always there by your side, instead of making you feel trapped and caged, and you know, all of these things. Number 7, verbal or physical abuses. Now, I don't think I even need to go in depth on the physical abuse part, because if it's something that you are going through right now, I'm really sorry about it, but you need to leave the relationship right now. You cannot be in a relationship that comprises of a lot of physical abuse, or not even a lot. Even if it's once, even if it's happened just once or twice, you really need to think over what you're putting yourself through, or if you can work things out, or it's not worth it. And when I say verbal abuse, by verbal abuse, I mean not just the abusive terms. It could mean anything. It could mean derogatory remarks or demeaning remarks over you and your personality, your character, whatsoever. Because I've seen that people tend to really bring out these unnecessary statements to throw in your face when you don't even deserve to listen to them, when it's not even your fault, but people just tend to say these hurtful things that kind of stick with you. And that's the reason so many people, after they have had a breakup, they leave the relationship with a lot of self-doubt about themselves. Number 8, not respecting you in front of their friends. I cannot emphasize on this enough, but if your partner is not treating you well enough in front of his friends or family, you really need to think over what have you gotten into. Because if you're, let's say, if you're meeting his friends or his family for the first time, he's supposed to make you feel safe. He's supposed to make you feel like you belong there, and just be there for you, to check on you if you feel comfortable, if you're not okay, and whatever you're feeling, basically whatever you're going through, he's supposed to lift you up in front of others and not pull you down, not pick on you or pick on your flaws in front of others. It takes a major hit on someone's self-confidence when someone does that. If in front of 10 people your partner tends to just point out everything that's wrong about you, there's something absolutely wrong going on there. Please realize that. Number 9, making you feel insecure. Your partner is not supposed to take your insecurities, rub them in your face, and make you feel worse about it than you already have been feeling all your life. They aren't supposed to remind you of all these flaws that you've been carrying with yourself and making it as a means to get their way in times of fights or arguments or anything of that sort. Instead, they are the ones who are supposed to tell you that how these insecurities are just in your head and you are perfect just the way you are. And number 10, when they aren't available for you when you want to talk about something, and they are very horrible listeners, if I say it bluntly. If your partner does not listen to you, or just keeps on talking about how things have been going wrong for him when you try to tell him the same, and everything seems to come crashing down for him or her at the exact second that you try to tell something on similar lines to him, you know again that it's not the space that you want to be in. You want to be with someone who, when you talk to someone about these things or about things that are bothering you, he should be able or she should be able to lend you a listening ear, and should be able to just be there for you, even if he's not giving any advice or any suggestion or whatsoever. He's just supposed to be there, make you feel heard and acknowledged. But there are these people who will always keep going on and on and on about their problems. It doesn't matter to them what you're feeling, doesn't matter to them what you're going through. The second you start talking, everything in their life will start to go wrong, and they'll keep reminding you of how they are the people who are even worse affected by what you claim to be affected by. Number 11, taking you for granted. Now, initial months of any relationship are very exciting, and you're just trying to be a particular someone for someone else, where you're not giving them a chance to judge you, or you just feel like you're not yourself basically. Even if you are, not saying that you're not your true self, sure you are, but it's just that there's this raw authenticity that comes after you really get comfortable with someone. And in those times when someone really gets over that first phase of your relationship, and then reaches the point when now you can be yourself around each other, and if that's when they start to take you for granted, they start to feel like now that they have you, they can literally be or act or behave in any sort of way around you. That is absolutely a no-no. If they made an attempt or made an effort to get you in your life and would have done anything for that to happen, if they were able to do that then, they can still do it now. And I'm not saying that they need to constantly remind you of how special you are or whatsoever, but they cannot also take you for granted in the sense that no matter what you do, it just kinds of gets complacent for them basically. They stop telling you what they feel about you, they stop making you feel special at all, or they just know that no matter what I do, no matter how I treat this person is always going to be around. And that complacency, that is something that you need to keep your eyes open for, that it's not something that should be a part of your relationship. And the last point, being emotionally unavailable. And what I mean by that is, if having uncomfortable conversations, if having these difficult conversations with your partner is leading you to have fights or arguments in a way that he's just not able to understand, he's not able to understand what you're going through, and instead it's just making things bad for you or worse for you in between the two of you, it's again something that you need to think about. Because being emotionally available just means that opening your heart out, or keeping your raw self or your soul in front of someone, and having that comfort to be able to do that, basically to feel so comfortable around someone that you just know that you can be the kind of person, whatever the way that you are, you can be as you are in front of them. You can talk about anything that you want under the sky. You can talk about all the things that probably would be difficult to talk about, and they still understand that, they accept that, and they acknowledge that, and they still love you for who you are any which way. If these signs sort of resonate with you in any which way, it's my humble request, or it's just something that I would want to put in your head, that you wanna maybe think about what kind of relationship you wanna be in. Because let me tell you something, you deserve the absolute best and nothing less than that. Never settle for anything less than the best. And when I say the best, it has different meanings for every single person, but not these signs. Not these signs. It could be anything, but not these signs. Nobody is perfect. No relationship is perfect. But it doesn't have to be this. It doesn't have to have a combination of all of these things, or even one of these things. And what surprises me is that some people do not take the step to get out of these relationships because they feel that once they do, they are not going to find anyone else. And I cannot begin to tell you how insane it sounds to me. There are 8 billion people in the world, and if the universe had you and this wrong person of yours get together, what are the odds that you're not going to meet the right one? And I also feel that all of these relationships, the wrong ones, are probably in your life to shape you up for the right one. Because even for me, if it was not for the wrong ones, I would have never been able to sit here and even talk about these things or be the person that I am today. I don't think I am the same person as I was a year ago or 2 years ago, even. Forget about just 10 years back. So yeah, if any of these resonated with you, or if there's anything nice you have to share, or if there's anything you want to share, please drop them down in the comments below. Share this video with someone that you feel might make use of it and would really need it in a time like this. And yeah, that's all for this video. And until my next video, keep your vibes way high, keep your spirits way high, and I will see you in my next one. Bye.